Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Elokeinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Lord God, Lord our God, Elokeinu, melech, king, ha-olam, of the universe. The word olam. The word olam, okay, is interpreted universe, but it's also interpreted from everlasting or perpetual. But what does it really mean, and why is it important? The word olam is used when it talks about the Sabbath day being a perpetual covenant. So what does olam really mean? It comes from our idea of time. See, our idea of time actually comes from the Hebrew idea of time. The Hebrew idea of time is wrapped up in directions. That's why, see, our directions are north, south, east, and west, because we think of north as our orientation. But it's a misnomer, because if the whole word orient means east. So orient means look to the east. So direction in Hebrew to the Hebrew people was looking at the sun, looking to the rising of the sun. Okay? And this is what the word implies in east. And when you look to the east, you're facing the western wall. So all the Jews, when they pray, look to east. When we look to Christ coming, we look to the east, to the Nadali, which is where we get nations. Natalia is my daughter's name. It comes from being born Christmas Eve, because the wise men were looking to the east. It's where we get nation. It's the word for east. But the word olam is also wrapped up in time. To anyone who looks east, we're actually looking to the east. We're looking to the past. When we're looking at the Messiah, okay, when we're looking for the Messiah to come from the east, we're actually looking back into the past to probably see him, okay, in the scriptures. The one that's coming from the one that was prophesied about. Which is the way I look at it. I mean, you can interpret it the way you want, but it sure makes an awful lot of sense, doesn't it? So what does the word olam mean? Does it mean perpetually forever? Well, actually it doesn't. It actually has to do with looking beyond horizon to horizon. The word is sometimes used to look into the past, and it really means beyond sight, beyond the horizon. So it's not a word for perpetual. So when God said that these covenant laws, old covenant laws, the old covenant was a perpetual covenant, ha'olam, he was not saying that it was forever and ever. But the English can't interpret it very well. And that's why people get tripped up and confused on the word forever and ever. The word olam means time out of sight. And so how can I illustrate this? Because Jeremiah prophesied that a new covenant would be made, and the old covenant would go bye-bye. Okay? And so if a new covenant had to come, that means that the one that's supposedly perpetual had to end. And indeed, if the word everlasting really means ha'olam, then that makes the Bible correspond or agree with itself when it says that the old covenant would end and a new covenant would happen. So basically, when he said that I'm going to take the heart of stone out and put in a heart of flesh, this was all in the same area, and I'm going to write my laws on your heart. He did not say that he was going to write the Sabbath laws or any of these laws on someone's heart. As a matter of fact, all of those things were given to Moses as a sign, and if you read it, of his sanctification. What is his sanctification? Jesus Christ. This is why Moses was given the law of the Sabbath. Now you will say to me, well, no, they were following the Abraham followed the Sabbath, because it says that Abraham followed God's commands. But you see, that's a faulty reading. And the reason why that is because first of all, it's not found that God established the Sabbath from Adam. He did rest on the seventh day, but he didn't make it a requirement for people to rest every seventh day until Moses, because it was a sign of the Messiah being the seventh day, Jesus Christ. And if you think about it, Even though, Moses didn't have time to write about it. No, it would have been significant. See, Adam was in the garden, and he was given one rule, not to eat of the fruit in the middle of the garden, the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? He wasn't told to follow the Sabbath every Saturday, every Shabbos. And nowhere is it said that it was instituted until Moses. And there was a reason why it was instituted, because everything that happened from the time of the Passover, okay, till the coming of the Messiah, everything that the Jews were doing were shadows of the things to come. All of the sacrifices had to do with Christ. This is what it was. It was a sign to everybody of Messiah. So when Messiah came, and Messiah said, I have come to fulfill the law. He fulfilled the Torah, which prophesied and was talking about him. This is why Moses said that you're supposed to listen to the prophet to come. And in Hebrews it says that these things are passing away. Indeed, they did pass away. You see, what happened was James the Just was in Jerusalem, and they were trying to tout him, and they were trying to make a new Messiah, because they were still trying to go into the temple on temple worship when the temple was already hung on the cross. You see, this is how I know that the Jews of the time were not following the Christ. They were still going back to the temple. The Pharisees had major control, and they tried to put up a new Messiah, and he actually, this is where Tisha B'Av came from, where the fall of the temple happened. So there was no way to come to Messiah by the laws of the temple, because that way was destroyed on purpose. Just as Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden and could not eat of the tree of life, the Jews were kicked out of the temple way of trying to worship God, because that old covenant had to be blocked off. And it went to the nations, it went to the Goyim. This is the theme of everything that happened in Jerusalem at the time of after the Messiah came. Remember that everything went to the Gentiles, and Jerusalem basically went back to the law. So when you look at this word olam, it cannot be interpreted forever and ever. It had to be interpreted perpetually until the new covenant would come and replace it, because it was said that I'm going to make a new covenant, because the Israelites broke the old covenant, and on purpose, because that new covenant was put in place to show something better. You have to read the book of Hebrews to understand that. Take care, and God bless.